All right, I think we're about to be live here. Hopefully. Maybe today there will be zero technical hiccups. That would be awesome. But based on how the last two went, who knows? Okay, I see people joining in the chat. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I think, as I always say, we'll be going over the recent newsletter I put out as the basis, but it is an AMA. So please feel free to ask questions in the chat. If you're watching the recording of this, leave comments, whatever you'd like, that's fine. And then try to remember to join next week's. So I do these every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific, unless I'm sick or on vacation or have a good excuse or something. But I think I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think I was pretty shocked when I was doing some content exporting from YouTube, and I didn't realize how many of these live streams I've actually done. Like I've been pretty consistent with them, which is pretty crazy. It's one of those things that I kind of set up to do and almost like forgot that it's literally just like my Monday ritual, which is cool. Um, and thanks for mentioning it there, speaking out in the chat. So, Tayman, good to see you. AI has not quite taken over yet. Maybe by the end of the week, though, based on how everyone's talking about it. Twitch Squad reporting in. Good to see you, Infected FPS. Yes, Roma, resume is reviewed. Editor sent it over today while I was at work, so that'll get posted up probably Wednesday. What I might do actually is unlist them, so I will put them up on YouTube because I was delayed on the resumes because I didn't do YouTube videos on my main channel for like 2 weeks. And this is the third week, so I recorded them last night. I'll put them up, I'll have them unlisted, and then I'll try to respond over email, and I'll send you over the link to the unlisted one. They'll go live. One will go live on Wednesday and probably the other one on Friday, maybe Thursday. But I have to get some like C# technical stuff actually put out on my main channel. The resume review ones, I think that they're arguably, I hope, like some of the most helpful content I put out for on my main channel. But I feel like in terms of viewership, they're like some of the worst watched videos. So kind of sucks. It's a little painful that way. But anyway, we'll get them out. Devin says, every content creator's dream, right? To create enough content that they can train an AI to do it for them. So, funny you mention that. Almost. So, I want to share this because it's kind of interesting. But so for folks that don't know, Devin probably knows because I talk a lot about it on my Code Commute YouTube channel. But building a platform called Brand Ghost. Am I like sitting like super short? Is my camera weird? I just realized it kind of looks like I'm sitting like this in my chair, but I'm trying not to do that. I'm building this platform called Brand Ghost, which helps me put out all my content on social media. So if you see like anything I'm posting, it's guaranteed through Brand Ghost. And one of the things that we're doing or getting to the point now that we can cross post everywhere and sort of like have perpetual content schedules is like, great. Now the next thing to tackle, because we model, aside from user requests, we model a lot of the sort of the challenges to go tackle based on me. Like these are, as a real content creator, where do I have challenges? And writer's block and stuff is the next thing, right? But what's wild is I have like just on my Code Commute YouTube channel like over 200 videos of me talking just like this, right? Driving in the car, talking about stuff, just blabbing away about software engineering and career stuff. It's literally 200 plus videos of just my thoughts. And I have all the transcripts for them. So I've been playing around with trying to leverage AI to like, I still don't feel like I can't use AI to just like blindly create content and not read it because the language, even though it's doing better when it's like all based on my own content, it still sounds closer to me. It's still like it tosses in some stuff where I'm like, dude, no one would say that. Like that's not that's not okay. But I've been playing around with it to to get a lot more of like the basis for posts and stuff. And I think I don't know what the sweet spot is, but somewhere around 200-ish videos, for with transcripts on 200 videos, it can do a pretty decent job. So for brand ghosts, one of the things that we're going to be doing coming up is sort of like I call it, you're all developers here, right? So you know what an IDE is. But I feel like it's almost like a content creator IDE. And if you can pull in content from different sources, then you can, run AI across it to help get through your writer's block and stuff like that. Tayman, we are not hiring. We do not make money to hire people. So unfortunately, no. We do have paying customers, but certainly not enough to pay anyone. So maybe someday we will be making money off it and be able to hire people. That's the dream, right? But anyway, I just wanted to respond to Devin's comment there, because truly, the code commute videos let me speak my mind about a lot of things in a very natural way. It's literally just me kind of stream of consciousness speaking. That was weird to say, about different topics. So in terms of like how it's able to extract the tone and stuff, I think it does a decent job. But anyway, today's sort of main topic is going to be about one-on-ones with your manager. And so that's what the newsletter that I put out is based on. So obviously, if you know the drill, if you've been to a couple of these, that's the newsletter link. If you are interested in kind of reading through it, there you go. You do not have to subscribe to read it. These do get paywalled after a month, which reminds me I have to go back and paywall some. So there's probably a few that are not paywalled right now. But you don't have to subscribe. You don't need to get an email sent to your inbox if you're like, that sounds stupid. You can just read them like blog posts if you want. You can follow along as we go through this. But it is an AMA, right? So please use the chat. That's what it's there for. I would much rather answer questions and have side conversations than focus like purely on the newsletter, right? So with that said, though, I will kick it off with the topic for today. But please, at any point, jump into the chat, share what you got, ask questions. Just subscribe, people. It's cheap. It's so cheap that it's actually $0. You can totally get the paid one if you want, which would be awesome. But yeah, it's totally free, so that's cool. Okay, one-on-ones, do them. The end. No, but one-on-ones I think are a really important conversation to have, because the more people I talk to, the more I realize like one-on-ones don't actually just happen normally or naturally. And if they do, then people seem to not, I don't know how to say this. I'd say they don't know how to like use the time effectively. And I don't mean that in a way that's like, because they're not smart, they don't know how to use the time. I mean like, they kind of question like, I don't really know what I should be doing with this time. It seems like I've been given an opportunity to use time to do something, but like, what do I do with it? Like, what's the best use of this time? And everyone's got different opinions on this, so you'll hear mine. And of course, if you're using the chat, share yours too, right? With almost all of my content, I try to make sure that I'm sharing different perspectives, right? Not just approaching it from one angle. There's a couple things I got strong opinions about, but in general, I try to approach things from different angles so that we can look at things different ways and understand them better. So other people might have lived experiences that are more relatable to you. And if they're sharing stuff in the chat about how they approach one-on-ones, things that work well, things that don't, like that could be helpful for you. So just a reminder, folks, like you can help other people too just by sharing in the chat. So please feel free to do that. Okay, so to kick things off, first thing is, I mean, even before I get into the newsletter content, if you don't have one-on-ones with your manager, I would suggest bringing this up. Try to get something regular scheduled. It doesn't have to be every week. If you're starting with 0, right, you don't even have one-on-ones, try to get something that you guys can commit to. I think I've seen weekly work very well. I've had situations where we've evolved them for some people into bi-weekly, right? They're like, I feel like I don't have things to update on every week or to talk about every week. And it feels almost forced if it's weekly. So I prefer to do it bi-weekly. That works well for me. My current team, I do one-on-ones with everyone every week, which if you think about it as a manager, that takes up a lot of time. And I do that not because like someone's making me do one-on-ones once a week. I do that because I think that it's a good use of time. It uses a lot of time, but it's a good use of time. And so definitely if you're not doing them now, try to have a conversation to get that started. That's like goal number one for you before, any of the other content we're getting into here. Try to do that. So for folks that aren't doing one-on-ones yet, if you're kind of concerned about how you bring this up with your manager, like, okay, this bald bearded guy on the internet saying I should be doing one-on-ones and sounds like a good idea, I guess, but what do I do? Literally just bring it up with your manager in whatever way feels natural for you. Right. So if that's over message or I don't know if you're eating lunch or something, you're like, hey, by the way, like maybe we could do this. I don't know what your working relationship is like with your manager. When I'm at the office, we like to go into the caf together and it's pretty cool to sit down with everyone. Finding a natural time to bring it up because you don't have a one-on-one, and saying something along the lines of like, hey, I think it would be helpful for me to be able to have a little bit more dedicated time. Doesn't have to be long, 30 minutes. If you're concerned about the time commitment, right, 30 minutes every 2 weeks to start, just to have a little bit of schedule time. And then the why part I think is really valuable, right? And you might have different reasons why. And I think, everyone who's watching this right now might have different reasons why they find them valuable. Could be visibility, right? Making sure that your manager understands the work you're doing. It could be because you're looking for alignment on career expectations. Hey, Hamza, good to see you. First time, but hopefully not the last time. Remember, I do these every Monday, so hope to see you next week too. Try to make a good impression today. And then that way you'll come back. But yeah, I think, coming up with your reason why and being able to share that with your manager, right? It's your manager ideally is trying to help you grow and succeed in your career, right? So if they want to help enable you do your best work possible, if they're doing one-on-ones with you, then there's more of an opportunity to close the gap on some things that you might have questions about or you need guidance on or whatever it happens to be. So get that set up to start. And then, of course, if you need to adjust schedule and cadence and stuff like that, then do it, right? Like I said, I've had times where we've done weekly, we moved to bi-weekly, we've gone back to weekly, all sorts of things. I do one-on-ones with mentees once a month, right? So cadence for that looks a lot different because we're talking about sort of long-term career things only, right? Like it's a touch point. So we'll do a once a month kind of thing. And that way between our conversations, it feels like there's, I don't know, like the day-to-day stuff or even the week-to-week stuff matters less because the time scale of things we're talking about is greater. So you just got to find what works for you, but start somewhere. I'll just pause for a sec to go through chat. So Infected FPS says, I do one-on-ones with my manager monthly with an open door policy for more frequently. I find it works well. Yeah. And so I like this a lot. I certainly have an open door policy. I don't want to say the only way, but I think one of the ways that I can see this going wrong is like, you might have a manager who's like truly like, I have an open door policy. Please come talk to me about anything. And then people on the team are like, for some reason, they almost don't trust it. Like, well, I don't want to bother them. And it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like, it's an open door policy. Like, come talk to me anytime about anything. And then people are still like, well, no, like, yeah, I don't want to be a burden. It's like, and then so it sounds weird to say there's no forcing function, but depending on your trust level with the like between the manager and the individual contributor, you might have this weird state where like you have not built up the trust and comfort level yet. So by having an open door policy, people don't want to like lean into it, even though like the option's there. So personally though, I like the idea. And I do tell people like, hey, if we do a one-on-one and it's every week, if you leave that one-on-one and something else comes into your mind, or the next day you wake up and you're like, oh crap, I should have talked to Nick about that. Please do not wait a full week to talk to me about it. Like, just message me, whatever. We can get on a call if we need to. But that's like, that's the open door part, right? Come talk to me anytime. So thanks for sharing, Infected FPS. Tamat says, I was chatting with another engineering manager and he thought that any comp sci program that doesn't use C or C++ is no good. My program was C# based. This is a common thought among engineering managers. I don't want to say that's a common thought among engineering managers, because I think that's too, how do I say this? It's like too specific of a call out on too broad of a group of people, if that makes sense. Right? To give you an idea of what I mean by that, if I were to sample the engineering managers I know and ask them that question, I think they would say that's kind of a bullcrap statement. Why? Because I work with a lot of engineering managers that write in C#, or they have teams that build in C#. If they talk about, you're talking about comp sci program, I'm assuming this means like in terms of education. Like, again, I went to the University of Waterloo in Canada, and that's I'm going to sit here and tell you that's the best engineering school in Canada because that's where I went. But it's regarded as one of the best engineering schools in Canada. I'm saying one of the best because I'm sure maybe someone from U of T who is obviously at a worse school would try to tell you otherwise. But I know that like my first year programming courses were in C#, or programming course, the one we had was in C#. Does that mean it's a bad program? No, I think, like I said, it's like argued to be one of the best engineering schools to go to in Canada. So did we learn other languages? Yes. Like, there was stuff. It's actually weird. We had other classes that use different languages. Like, we had one that was in Java. I think we had one that had C and C++, but no one taught us the languages. They were just like, hand in your assignments in these languages. So I don't think that, like, anyone, in my opinion, anyone who's telling you that the language dictates the quality is like, I don't know, like just missing something, or they're, I don't know. I don't have good words today. My words are failing me, but yeah, I feel like they're kind of missing part of the picture that's maybe not as important. But Ryan, good to see you. Yeah, so we'll be talking about one-on-ones. Just go through the questions, but thanks for being here. Infected FPS, bug her often enough for random questions here and there, so I make use of that policy. Good. Young Bird, I mean, as long as OS and data structures are done in C, C++, I think it's fine. I don't think C++ is necessary for more high-level topics. Yeah, like, I think it would feel super weird to say, go write, like, even just the concepts, like go do real-time operating system concepts with C# or with Java. Like, it would feel kind of weird. And it's not that you couldn't conceptually go build those things, but if you were to build it in C or C++, you could go take that like real-time operating system and go put it onto a device. You could probably, I think there's ways that you could do that with C#. Someone was telling me about some embedded stuff with C#, but I haven't done it. So is it doable? Like, sure. I know the first internship I had, my employer actually used his real-time operating system that he built in university and extended it and was like putting that onto devices. So, and that was in C, right? So I don't know. I think it's doable. I just think a lot of the concepts that they're trying to teach you at that level probably would benefit from a lower level language like C or C++. But again, like you could argue that you could illustrate those concepts with other languages too, I'm sure. Devin says, gatekeeping CS is a slippery slope. Imagine teaching CS concept without building transistors by hand. Yeah. You didn't refine the silicon yourself. Yeah. Who's not going out there getting handfuls of sand and melting it down? I mean, the audacity of some people, right? Like, my goodness. Infected FPS says, it's a bad take on their part. I've got engineers from better schools than me who could not code their way out of a wet paper bag. And I've also met bootcamp grads who can code circles around me. Yeah, it's That's a really good point, right? It's like, I mean, Tayman was kind of the focus of this was around the language, but there's so many other factors, and often it can come down just to you know, an individual in some environment being able to learn more effectively one way or the other too. So, yeah, a lot of different angles, but I think the short answer is I just don't think I don't think it's a good take personally. But good question. So thank you for asking that. I mean, I feel weird. It's like I'm not trying to pile on you for asking the question. I'm just kind of disagreeing with the take, but not the question. So I do appreciate it. Okay, one-on-ones. One-on-ones. Where are we going with this? So I was talking about getting them scheduled at least, right? The other thing was that or the first point in the newsletter is really about not waiting for your manager to drive the whole thing. Now, I've had managers where they basically will drive the entire conversation, which I feel is a little backwards, right? You sit down with them and they use, if it's a 30-minute one-on-one, they take 30 minutes and they tell you everything that's on their mind. And you're like, okay. And then the 30 minutes is up and they're like, okay, thanks for the chat. And you're like, but what about? And then it's done, right? I've had that happen before. It's not a great experience, especially if that's just how they all go. So I would say trying to get ahead of that, right? If I reflect on situations where that's happened to me, I probably should be a little bit more forthcoming and say, by the way, like we didn't get a chance to talk about X. But how do you even know what to talk about, right? Like, what is X in this example? So a couple notes I wrote down in the newsletter: keep a lightweight running document of topics from the week. If you have weekly one-on-ones, if stuff's coming up and it's not urgent, like we were talking about open door policy, if you don't need to go talk to your manager right away and you're like, hey, this would be a good kind of conversation to kind of go over, or we'll kind of talk about, I hope we get to this, we'll talk about like status updates and one-on-ones. I don't think that needs to be the focal point. Some people will say never do it, but I don't like always and never. I think those are not good terms to use. You might have like a highlight from the week and you're like, hey, I don't have to go message my manager right now on it, but might be good to talk about when we meet just to kind of bring some visibility. So keep a list of stuff that you want to go over. And then, yeah, the next part's basically a direct addition to this. So blockers, wins, concerns, or questions. I will talk about questions in the next bullet point. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention here, because I think this is important and some people don't either think about this or don't realize, but like as an engineering manager, I would love to be able to be plugged into every single thing that's going on in the team, right? Have full visibility, know when, as soon as people are stuck so I can go help them, know as soon as they've, been able to have a measurable success where, I can reach out to them and say, good work, awesome stuff. Or if they're blocked on waiting for teams, like all these things, right? I don't have full 100% perfect visibility into every little detail. And I would love to be able to help that way, but it's just not realistic, right? Even if I only had one direct report, there's going to be stuff that I just don't see. So don't assume your manager sees everything. So that means if you're waiting for them to help you because you're stuck on something, raise awareness. If you want to share that you've been able to be successful with something because you think that visibility is helpful for career progression, don't just assume they see it, right? Make sure that you're thinking about these things so that you can bring those to conversations with your manager. Ideally, a good manager has good visibility, right? It's not zero, but it's also not 100%. So try to make sure that you're bringing this kind of stuff up in conversations, or else you might feel like things are getting missed because they are getting missed by your manager. We are human, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see how good the AI gets, and then I can make a comment on that. My favorite NHL team that I root for. So this might be news to some people. I am Canadian, and that must mean, because as a Canadian, that hockey is literally in my bloodstream. Two things. Number one, I cannot skate. Don't tell anyone. So I can't skate, and I also do not like sports. So I might be potentially the only Canadian in history that can't skate. and that doesn't like sports. So when it comes to NHL teams, I actually don't have a team that I root for. It's not for me for some reason. Just never got into sports to play them, and I don't really like watching them. It's like it doesn't do anything for me. Um, hot take, it feels like a waste of time to me. I don't get it. But I know other people love it, they enjoy it. It's just not a thing for me. Dominic, on the RTOS with C Sharp, I should probably one sec. When I say real time operating system too, like what do we mean by real time? But C Sharp embedded nano framework. One sec. I saw something on this. I'm just trying to pull it up. I'm not sharing my screen because I don't know what I'm about to hit on the internet yet. There was something for this. Micro framework. I saw nano framework. I think there's some things that compare .NET nano framework with .NET. Yeah, there is. Okay, so this one's actually from Microsoft, so I feel like I can put this up on my screen and I'm not like on Reddit and I might click a link and be in for a bad time. You never know. So what is .NET Nano Framework? And I'm reading this out, by the way. I actually don't really know what I'm about to read. It's kind of like I thought I saw a headline on something about this before, and that's why I kind of jumped in. I said, I think you can actually do it, but I don't know, okay? So .NET Nano Framework is a free and open source platform that enables writing of managed code applications for constrained embedded devices, such as microcontroller unit, MCU, whatever. It's suitable for many types of projects, including IoT sensors, wearables, academic proof of concept, robotic hobbyist makers. Cool. Solution. Oh, wow. So literally. Oh, when there's IoT as well. So, man, I might have to go make some YouTube videos. I have to go learn about it first. Sample solution and documentation for comparing Nano Framework and .NET IoT platforms. The sample application includes a scenario on both platforms. Every 3 seconds, application reads temperature value from a sensor, turns the LED on after reading the value. So yeah, I mean, like, this is cool. For Raspberry Pis, M5 stack. Works on powerful boards. Oh, so here's the comparison chart. I mean, this seems pretty awesome. I don't really do any embedded development anymore, but oh man, I'm not gonna. How are we supposed to read this? I gotta keep zooming in. Sorry for everyone that's on Substack. You can't see anything I'm doing, and sorry for anyone on Instagram. You're like, what the hell's going on? I barely know what's going on. So, oh, and Devin's saying, from an embedded standpoint, I use the Meadow boards from Wilderness Labs. They run regular .NET executables right on ESP32 chips. Okay, awesome. But yeah, I didn't even know like the IoT and nano frameworks existed. Like I said, I thought I heard of something for this stuff, but awesome. So the next time that someone's like, no, you can't do that with .NET. Yeah, you can, obviously. Funny story, and I know Devin knows this because I shared it on Twitter and he was reacting to it and commenting back, but I had a salty person on, I think it was on a Code Commute video. Yeah, I was talking about there's a couple of really popular .NET open source projects that went commercial recently. They did it on April 2nd. They needed to wait until after April Fool's Day because they're like, we're actually doing this, and they didn't want to have people think it was a joke. So I made a video talking about it because people were asking about it and just my perspective on it. And someone was commenting on the video saying something along the lines, I'm not even going to get the right quote, but something along the lines of like, oh, like, you know, you're just a .NET developer. Like, it's not even talking about like cross-platform and how you're just locked into like only making things for Windows, and who would ever want that? So I shared back and I was like, dude, it's literally been open source since like 2014 and you can run stuff on Linux. And they were like, no. And they were all upset. So I should go back there and comment and say, by the way, you can do embedded programming too. Go figure. Anyway, that's cool. So what else we got in the chat here? Oh, Tayman, you plan on going to Canada to move there? That's cool. That's where I'm from. I thought well, I don't know exactly where you're from, but I thought, and I don't know this because I've never had to do it, but I thought that Canada, compared to other places, and I say other places, I mean the US, I thought Canada was more straightforward or more, I want to say lenient or lax without being able to qualify those because I don't know, but I thought I heard that. But cool. Okay. So next part on the one-on-ones, get unstuck technically or interpersonally. So I said one of the things I wanted to come back to was this idea of questions, right? So I have had, and this has happened across different levels of developers, but I would say I've had a couple of like, I don't know, like more junior or like interns. I've had people that will use some of their one-on-one time where they do have questions they want to talk about, and they're very, sometimes it's like, you know, very open-ended career things, and sometimes it's like, hey, can you talk to me more about what this part of our code base or platform does, or like what this part of our organization does. And I wanted to share this with folks because like I'm giving you some insights into some things that come up in one-on-ones that I have. And one thing that you'll probably hopefully take away from this entire chat is like there is no right or wrong thing to talk about in a one-on-one, right? This is ideally time for you to be talking about things that are important to you. Okay, so I'm sharing with you some things that come up. I can talk about these things because they're made generic. You're not going to know who said what, but definitely had people that are more junior or interns want to talk about these really open-ended things. They might not even be relevant to their very specific work that they're doing, but they're just being curious. And I think they've found that maybe there isn't a good opportunity to ask these things, or they don't know where the right forum is. So I've absolutely encouraged them. You know, they'll ask a question in the one-on-one. We'll talk about some architecture stuff, or they'll say like, "Hey, like, you know, I'm still an intern, or I just started here, but like, can you tell me about like, you know, how did you get here? Like, what did you go to school? Like, what did your career look like?" And they're not like, I don't know, like challenging me or like questioning me. It's more like I just want to learn about what these things look like, right? They just want to expand their perspective. So I think for some of these individuals, it's worked really well for them just to either learn about career progression or learn about different parts of our systems that we have going on. Maybe learn about some history for why things are the way they are in our organization, code base, whatever. But the point is that they seem to find that in a one-on-one conversation, this was like a natural fit, and then they walk away learning something. And to me, that's a good use of time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We'll also, I think we'll talk about this. We might not actually. I know I talked about this in a code commute video, but your one-on-ones will likely be different from week to week or month to month, whatever it is, based on the cadence. If you're doing them every week, like having a career conversation every single week is probably going to feel weird. Or if you're trying to get feedback on your career progression every week, it's going to feel weird because from week to week, sometimes there's not like a measurable difference. And then you'll feel like, you know, why can't I get the feedback I need? And it's like, because there just isn't enough like time for this kind of stuff to be measured or to have like a meaningful feedback. So being able to mix in different things can be helpful. The other thing I wanted to mention, and again, this is more, I think, helpful visibility because you might be thinking about stuff like this, but you're not sure. But like interpersonal stuff, whether that's, by the way, I have a sneeze that's coming on and I don't know when, but I know it's coming. So heads up. At any given moment, I may have to run away and sneeze. People don't often think about how much time is spent on like interpersonal challenges. So that could be challenges with other teammates, other teams. That could be, and I don't expect this of anyone, by the way. But I do try to make sure that I am building up good working relationships with my employees so that they trust and respect me, so that when they do have challenges that might be outside of work, right? Someone might say, just as an example, right? Like, hey, like I've been having difficulties at home because I have a sick family member, or difficulties with my pet, or I actually have some medical stuff going on and I need, it's distracting. I need some time. I don't expect that people need to go into details like that with me, right? I'm choosing my words carefully here. I don't expect that they do that, but I do think that when people are able to trust me and have conversations with me, and they know that I am trying to help, that if they feel that that context is helpful, then they will bring it up. So, for example, someone might feel like they're not doing their best work. They've been in a bit of a slump, and they're like, I know what's going on. Like, I've been distracted because I'm just making this up, right? Like, I've been sick, or I've been sick and I haven't been able to sleep properly, or whatever it is. And being able to bring that up in a one-on-one and saying, hey, look, like I'm feeling like I'm having some challenges, and here's what it looks like, and here's why, right? I'm happy to have those conversations with people. Doesn't mean I have a solution. I can't just say like snap my fingers and hey, look, you're not sick and you're going to have a perfect night's sleep. But I've had conversations with people where they're super burnt out, right? Super burnt out. And they're like, honestly, like I just feel like I can't really get good work done. I'm like, great, take the day off tomorrow. Or like, like it's still early, it's halfway through the day. Like take the afternoon off. See ya. We'll talk through this. We'll wrap it up. Take the rest of the day off. Go. Right? Like, if I know or I have some insights into things that are going on, then I can try to help. Now, it goes both ways. Like, as I'm working with people and they're building trust and respect with me, I'm doing the same thing the other direction. If I had someone that came to me every day and they were trying to abuse that kind of thing, I would, the trust would probably erode pretty quickly. But I've never had that happen in my career. Right. So I think that and I'm sharing this because I feel like it's a good use of time. If you have some interpersonal challenges that are going on, if you have a good amount of trust and respect with your manager, you can use this time to help with that. Especially, so you might not feel comfortable sharing personal stuff with your manager. Totally fine. That's why I said it's not an expectation. But if you're having challenges with other people at work, now it might be an interpersonal thing with you and someone else at work, but the important part here is that it's interfering with your work. This might be something that you need to bring awareness to. You might need some assistance. It might be something that you're trying to actively work on, but you want to bring some visibility to it. Could be anything. These types of conversations happen more often than probably people realize. And I can say this because I am an engineering manager. I've been doing it for almost 13 years. This stuff happens a lot where people have difficulty with other people. I've had mentees that come to me. So I do early in career mentorship at Microsoft, and really awesome experience. I love doing it. And I've had people come to me where the interpersonal conflict they have is actually with their manager, and they're early in career, right? So it's interesting because one of the things, and this is kind of like common coaching that I'll do, is like when people have challenges with other people, one of the things that will come up is like, so, hey, like, what's happened when you've talked to this person about it? What do you think the common response is? Oh, I haven't done that. Right? Like, it's very common that people will have interpersonal challenges, but not actually have conversations with the person about the challenge. So a lot of coaching I do around this particular type of thing is helping people come to that realization that like, hey, it might be a scary conversation to have. Like, no one likes uncomfortable conversations, right? Like I said, I've been an engineering manager for almost 13 years now. I don't like having difficult conversations. I don't enjoy that. I don't look forward to it. But the more that you have them, the more that you're like, it's gonna be okay. And it's, I don't know, like a band-aid analogy, right? Like once you start, peel the band-aid off fast, it's fine. You get going, it's fine. But I would say I don't have stats on it. Overwhelming majority of times that I've coached people around having interpersonal conflicts and talking about it with someone, right? Like if you're having difficulty with someone else, we can chat through how to structure a conversation around that, how to bring it up with them. I have found almost every single time their working relationship improves dramatically. A lot of the time there's misunderstanding, miscommunication. People appreciate that someone was like, hey, thank you so much for bringing this up and addressing it with me. Either they didn't know that they were having a negative impact, or they also felt the friction and they were like, hey, like, you know, you took the step here, like, thank you. I don't even know, like, I want to say it's happened before, but I couldn't even tell you about the time because I can't recall it, where someone has had that conversation and it wasn't positive, maybe neutral, but I don't think there's ever been a negative situation from that. I'm not saying it can't happen, but statistically, I just haven't seen it. So you can use one-on-one time to get unstuck on technical things, or if you have interpersonal conflicts that you want to talk through. Roma says, how would you approach a situation where you're getting paid less than another engineer that has been working longer in the company, but you are confident that you are more capable than them? First thing, I don't recommend comparing yourself to others because this in general becomes a really slippery slope. What I'm not going to do is sit here and say that I have zero context, right? Literally, I'm reading a comment, so I don't have any context to be able to back up this claim or not. So that's not the intention of how I'm responding here. When you say that you are confident that you're more capable than them, there are other things that you might not be seeing, right? Whether that's perspective in general, whether that's just experience, it could be any number of things. I don't think the comparison path is a good one to do. And instead, what I would recommend doing is reframing comparison to be focused just on you, right? So what I mean by that is like trying to pull someone else, and not obviously not directly, but trying to pull in someone else's like frame of reference into what you're doing, I just think is like not a helpful conversation, but instead focus on like, for me as a developer, if I'm at this level and I want to get to the next level, or I think I deserve more, don't structure it as, well, I do more than them, or I'm better than them, so I deserve more because I'm better than them. You don't know what their arrangement was. And yes, should it be equal? Probably, right? I'm not debating this, but try not to point at other people to make a case for you, because you should be able, like your capabilities and experience should be able to speak for yourself. So I would focus on the value that you're delivering, make that the focal point, and then bring that up. So that's a really general answer, but the meta point there is like, try not to do the comparison. The only time I recommend, I shouldn't say only, there's probably more than just this, but I think a good example of doing comparison is when it's motivating for you. I see so-and-so on my team or on a different team or whatever, and I think they're kick-ass. I love that they go do this, they do that, they do these things well. I love that they coach other people. I think they're really thoughtful in their designs, or they're really thorough in their code reviews. Like, I really admire these things. That's a good comparison, because you're like, hell yeah, I want to be like that. I think the unhealthy comparison is saying, I don't think they're good, or why them, not me. It's just not helpful. It doesn't really get you far. I feel like it's really difficult to make a selling point out of that. And that's why I'm saying, if you're very confident in your abilities, stop focusing on the other people. Focus on you. What makes you so good? And then make a case for that. Burger 3307. Yes, I am selling courses. Yes, I am arguably one of the worst salespeople in history, but I'm working on it. So with that said, because you brought it up, and you're not a plant in the audience, I wish I was that thoughtful. I do have courses for sale. It's probably a good point to bring them up. What? There's a sale too. hell yeah. I thought this sale was like last week or something, and I thought it was done. It's not. So there's courses. If you're interested in courses that I have available, sorry, folks on Substack. It's at Dome Train if you're interested. But, and same with folks on Instagram, you can't really see, so I apologize. But I do have courses. The two that I'm proud of all of them, but I have these two getting started in a deep dive on C Sharp. If you want to learn about C Sharp, Nick Chapsis, who runs this platform, was actually giving them away at the beginning of the year. There were over 30,000 students that got these, which I think is super cool. And I wish that all 30,000 of them would have subscribed to my YouTube channel, but they didn't. I don't even think that I mentioned YouTube on these courses, which I should probably talk to Nick Chapsis about, because if I had 30,000 students and half of them subscribed, if a third of them subscribed, I would have doubled my subscriber base. That would have been super cool. But instead, we just gave them away. So I have C# courses, but there's also some career courses as well. So I paired up with Ryan Murphy, who's an engineering manager at Yelp. We have career management, getting promoted, behavioral interviews, and soft skills as well. So a bunch of different courses. So if you're like, I don't like C#, even though it's arguably the best language that's ever been made. If you don't like C#, then there might be something else for you. So you can check that out. But thank you, Burger3307, for reminding me to pitch my courses. And Ryan Wakefield says, hey, Nick, sorry for the scroll moment. But did you know that there's a bug with your article pictures on your site them being too wide on mobile? What? It impacts sideways scrolling on code blocks. No, I didn't know that. Is it just mobile? Let's check it out. The cool thing is, because I'm not using... Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks, Devin. I appreciate that. Let's pull up a post and check it out. Article pictures on your site. Ryan, do you have, just so I'm not floundering around here, because it's live and I'm guaranteed to be kind of all over the place. Do you happen to know what page you're looking at when this happens? Like, is it on the home page? Because I wonder if I can... Because you're saying code blocks, so it can't be the homepage. Maybe, oh, I'm being stupid. You're talking about like older articles. So one sec, let me go. I haven't written an actual article in a long time, since April of last year, aside from my newsletter. Okay, so code blocks. If I F12 this, I'll share my screen in just a moment. So here's what I see. But I don't know. Maybe this is a bad one. Is it the, like, the code blocks? Article pictures up at the top? These guys? Maybe that's what it is? Oh, I see. Okay. I think I get it. So, sorry for scrolling up and down real fast. Because these article pictures are too fat and they're spilling over the edge, if someone were to read this, and even you can see that this embed here is spilling over, it causes the code blocks to have a scroll bar, I think is the issue. You know what? I might vibe code this because it's probably some front-end rendering stuff. This entire blog is done in Blazor, but when it comes to like the front-end formatting and stuff, no, I'm a back-end developer, and I will vibe code the crap out of this. I'll just say, hey, make it better, and see what it does. And legitimately, and there is sideways scroll. I can't, for some reason, I can't even scroll on. I see the scroll bar, but like I can't. It won't use the scroll bar. Just in Chrome here. Oh, it's scrolling here on the window, but it's not grabbing the scroll bar. Anyway, I can look at this. Thank you for bringing it up. I will definitely use dev0. Is that what it's called? v0.dev, sorry. I always get it wrong. I'll use v0.dev. It'll fix it for me. Interestingly enough, like all the stuff that's on the blog, Like if I take this, like basically everything, I just asked V0 to go do better for me, and I just describe it, and it's definitely vibe coded in the front. But yeah, it's cool because it's an entire Blazor blog engine, thanks to Steven Giesel, who's awesome. So thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that. Okay, I think back to one-on-ones. I think one of the most important things that you can talk about is about career growth. I think where some people kind of get this messed up a little bit is like they go, okay, I should do this, but then they try to talk about it every single week and get feedback. I already kind of mentioned this, right? But when you start doing something like this, the challenge is that it starts to make it feel less meaningful because you're like, hey, let's have a career conversation about how I'm progressing. And then the next week it's the same thing. And it's like, it's the same update as last week. When there's not enough time in between to talk about this, it doesn't feel like there's any progress. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it at all then, because I think most people just don't do this, or they're waiting for their manager. I need to play both sides where, you know, I want people to bring it up. I want to know who's interested in like focusing more on career development, who needs more feedback, how I have to adjust my style for different individuals. But also, I know that there's people who, and this comes up in the next section, but they only do status updates, right? Every one-on-one is just a status update. I got this change into code review. I got this change flighted out. I'm writing tests for this one. This one's in design. There's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with doing status updates. But when they are the sole focus of the code review, my God, when they're the sole focus of the one-on-one, and we never talk about career development or alignment in terms of progression, that's where I'm like, okay, I gotta step in, and we can finish up the one-on-one focused on what you're interested in. And I will say, hey, for the next one, we should probably spend some time talking about this stuff. Kind of interject with it. So definitely make sure that you're talking about career growth. That could be a bunch of different things, right? Getting feedback, one thing I mentioned. Second thing is getting alignment. I said second thing and then counted an extra 2 fingers because counting is very difficult. Hopefully no one saw that though, right? Second thing, 2 fingers. Second thing is about alignment. So understanding, like, I'm at this level and I'm trying to get towards the next level. What's actually the expectation of that? What should I be doing? What are the biggest areas for opportunity? Do I have areas that are maybe falling behind compared to some others that I should focus on? Sometimes, like, there's a difference between sort of operating effectively at your level and then doing what's expected of the next level. And this is tricky. It becomes more and more apparent, I would say, as you become more and more senior. But you often need to be demonstrating that you can be performing at the next level to be able to get promoted, right? It's a more rare circumstance where someone says, you know what, I think this person might be capable of it, so I'm going to take a chance on them, give them the promotion, and kind of hope that they're going to live up to it. It's not that it doesn't happen, it's pretty rare. Usually people want to have confidence. I say people as in managers want to have confidence that someone is demonstrating that they're operating at that next level, and they go, okay, I feel good, time for promotion. Because managers have to make a case for it. When people are more junior, it's a lot more straightforward to say, I as the manager know that this entry-level developer, they are demonstrating that they're operating at the next level. I feel good about that. It's pretty rare that people are going to really challenge that and be like, are you sure? Like, it can happen, but it's more rare. When people become more senior, and I'll use even myself as an example, right? At my level, so I am a principal engineering manager at Microsoft. It's in Microsoft levels, it's level 65, which sounds like a nice high number, but entry level starts at 59, so we skipped 59 levels. I actually don't know what all the levels before 59 mean, but or if there are any. I don't know. It's a mystery to me. But at 65, it's not sufficient for my manager. It's necessary, but not sufficient for my manager to say, I would like to promote Nick. It's necessary, but not sufficient for my skip level to say, I want to promote Nick. And then it's necessary and sufficient with everything else for people that report up to the CVP to sign off on that. So again, because of the seniority, the decision-making process to be able to promote people, this is at Microsoft. It could look different in other places, but I suspect it follows maybe not the exact pattern, but a similar one. There's more scrutiny. Okay, so making sure that you understand the expectations is critical. And then when you talk about growth and having that alignment with your manager, the way that I like to think about this, and other folks might have different lived experiences here, so I'm just sharing how I approach things. Like I said, your manager might be in a different camp here, but I try to approach things like career progression in terms of like, I'm on your team and I'm trying to support you for getting your promotion. I am not trying to act as a gatekeeper, like trying to, dangle in front of you like, oh, here's this opportunity, just go finish this project and maybe I'll promote you. Like, no, I'm on your side. But what that means is that for me to put you up for promotion, I need to have a solid case for doing that. I know what people are going to be looking for because we have talent guides that explain what's expected at each level. I know when other people are going through their reports that they're trying to promote, what conversations happen. So I need to make sure that I am prepared with solid evidence on your behalf to go represent you and say, this person is ready for promotion. I feel confident. Here's all of my supporting evidence for it. And therefore, I'd like to make a case for it. So I'm on your side. I want to align with you. And then we can look for the things that we want you to go focus on so I have sufficient evidence to put you up. NMS says, the general challenge with performing the next level of confidence for promotion is management generating the notion of you working one up level along with your level, else you are not working as expected. I'm not disagreeing with this. I just don't, I don't know if I'm going to have to read it again because I'm not sure I understood it. So that's my bad. The general challenge with performing the next level of confidence for promotion is management generating the notion of you working one level up along with your level, else you are not working. Oh, I see. I think, and sorry, I'm going to say this, not that I'm trying to correct you, so that's not my intention. I'm just going to say this in a way that I want to make sure that I'm understanding properly. So I think in your message, the meta point here is that it's almost like we're talking about, hey, the expectation is you're performing at the next level, but then managers are basically saying, yeah, but if you're not performing at the next level, you're not even doing your level properly, right? Like it's almost like the bar is set so high that if you're not going after that next level, you're underperforming. I think is what's being said here. And sorry, Animesh, if I understood that incorrectly, but I think that's the point. And I would say that I think that would feel real crappy, right? Yeah, if like the expectation is that you are at that level. Now, to be fair, if this is what's being said, I've seen this kind of thing happen for like mid-level engineers, mostly, when I've seen this kind of thing come up. And I see it happen, so mid to senior, and I see this happen less with, say, like principal engineers, and I and I don't have like science or data to back this up. I feel like it's probably because, at senior or principal, for some people, that's where they might be like kind of tapping out in terms of career progression. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's a term for it. I've talked about this on Code Commute and I can never remember, but I'm at a computer now. Terminus level Okay, I think the phrase is called a terminus level or terminal level. I just searched it on the internet, so I'm just going to read it out loud. Um, in the context of employment, a terminus level or terminal level generally refers to the highest level an employee can reach within a specific job, family, or career path, often representing a position of significant experience and responsibility. It's not the definition I was expecting to see. Um, so I might have the wrong terminus, haha. I might have the wrong phrase to use. My understanding, and I thought I had it right, is that there's a phrase for a level that you can reach where basically like HR is like comfortable with people being at this level. So for example, senior and principal level at Microsoft, I think no one's ever come out and said this to me, but I think would be determined like if someone's at level 64, level 65, terminal level is correct. Thank you, infected FPS. Words. I think at those levels, someone's like, hey, look, if someone's like, they're doing great work at this level, but they're not showcasing the next level, like that's okay. But I think, and again, no one's ever come out and told me this directly. I think at the more junior levels, like under, say, like senior and principal, I'm just making this up for Microsoft, that people have the expectation, like, hey, look, we're not going to have people that are kind of like stuck at junior or stuck at mid-level for their entire career. Like, we need to be seeing people get to that point, that terminal level, so that they're, you know, we've invested into them, they're doing awesome work, and we're comfortable with them at that level. I'm saying this out loud without actually knowing what that, if that is a thing at Microsoft and if what the levels are. But to Animesh's point, I think that I've seen this kind of, based on his comment, I've seen this kind of thing happen. Sorry if there's background noise. There's like a plane that's flying super low outside my room. I'm trying to watch my my mic level to see if it's picking it up. It sounds like the plane is like inside this office, which is nuts. It's so loud. Like, I can't think, it's so loud. My point is that I've seen this kind of thing happen that Animesh is describing, where more junior people like are not, I don't want to say they're not like, not pulling their weight is like the absolute wrong phrase. They're not like sort of going after the next level, and then therefore they're not operating as expected. But I've seen this happen less with more senior people. So I just wanted to acknowledge it because I think it's an interesting point. Devin says, I feel like we sometimes conflate someone showing the qualities and capability of the next level and outright doing the work of that level. Yeah. This is true. And I think that this is another reason why it's really beneficial to have those conversations for level setting expectations. That doesn't mean that it gets rid of this problem that Devin's describing. I think that would be like a false statement if I'm just like, oh, just, you know, have the alignment conversations and therefore this problem goes away. But I think that that's where you could help try to build some clarity around that. Right? So some managers may say, like, in order for them to have confidence, like, you literally are doing work that's at the next level. And they're like, okay, you can do that. And you've demonstrated that you can sustain everything else you're doing already at your level. Now we can feel confident about putting you forward. But I think, yeah, have the conversations about level setting expectation to try and reduce the friction and discomfort around like, or the uncertainty even around like what's expected. So thanks, folks, for the comments on that. The next one I have is ask questions that might not suit a stand-up. So I actually listed these in the opposite order. So I talked earlier about folks that were asking questions like, hey, tell me about your career, tell me about like our architecture and stuff like that. That's what this point was about. So I completely screwed up. The earlier point was actually about blockages on stuff. So just to circle back to that one, if you're, I would say number one, if you're blocked on something, please don't wait for a one-on-one to address it. But sometimes it's not obvious. It depends on the kind of work you're doing and how long the projects are and who's involved and all that. But you might be in a situation where you're like, I don't know, you're talking to your manager about something, and maybe part of it's like partially a status update, and you're starting to realize like, hey, like, you know what, like I could actually use some assistance with this. It might not be a very concrete thing that just happened, but might be something that's kind of compounding, and kind of realizing that you could use some assistance, whether that's blocked on partner teams. You might have people on the team that, you're blocked on them, but bringing that kind of stuff up with your manager can be super helpful to get unblocked. This is from Roma. How do you avoid making an entry level engineer not feel micromanaged if they seem to know the steps of execution for certain tasks? So this is a really interesting question because I don't know. I like to think of myself as someone who's the exact opposite of a micromanager, almost to a fault the other direction. I really believe in autonomy and kind of setting a clear direction for people and saying, like, the expectations, like, you're smart, happy to help if you have questions, but I don't want to go micromanage you, right? I think it sucks to be micromanaged. I don't want to do it. Pardon my language, but like, I got other shit to do. And I would much rather that you have ownership and clear direction and you're going to go do it. Now, what I've noticed, and I think this is why Roma's question is very interesting, is I've actually noticed that interns and junior developers often do much better with being closer to being micromanaged. And I don't mean that like I have a better, like I have better control over the situation or something. I mean literally that without having clear intervals for deliveries and stuff like that, or like clear milestones and timelines, without the structure, they start to go like, I don't know, like, and then you could give them 2 weeks to do something and they're like, yeah, it took me the full 2 weeks. And you're like, but you just had to like, change like a word in a log line. Like, why did that take you 2 weeks? And they're like, I don't know. And then the next time you're like, okay, like do the same thing by tomorrow. And they're like, okay. And then they do it by tomorrow. And you're like, why is there a discrepancy? And the reality is that they just don't know how to effectively like manage their time, not because they're dumb or something like that. They're not used to actually working on a team. Like, they just haven't done it before. And if you're like me and you were a student, you procrastinated on everything you did. Just like someone gave you a time frame and you're like, I'm going to literally play video games for the next 3 weeks before this project's due. And then I'm going to panic at the last minute and go, why does this always happen? It's because we procrastinate. And I think that sometimes that if people haven't built up the experience and the skill of trying to manage their time, set milestones for themselves so they can make sure they're progressing over a time frame, this stuff is hard. So I've actually found almost the opposite of what Roma's hinting at here, that actually being closer to micromanaging new or junior developers has been helpful for them. Like, they are thankful for the extra structure. Now, how would I avoid micromanaging anyone? It's I think it comes down to expectations, right? So if I've set clear guidelines, by the way, it's probably going to be hit and miss for the first little bit with working with someone. If I set clear guidelines and I back away and stuff is getting done sort of on schedule with good quality and stuff, great. But if I do that and step away and then someone's like totally missing the mark on timelines, which can happen if there's, external factors and stuff. But if someone's like just kind of missing the mark and the quality's not there, then I have to kind of, pendulum swing a little bit the other way and say, okay, like maybe next time we'll talk more about this and set better milestones or have more touch points or whatever it happens to be. But I kind of have to feel it out with the person. But like I said, I try to make sure that I'm erring on the side of giving them benefit of the doubt that they can do this kind of stuff. I don't know if that answers the question, though. I have really long-winded ways to explain things, so you might have noticed that by now. But yeah, I think, getting alignment and clarity, and you could even go the opposite direction from the beginning, right? Say with someone who's more junior, from my experience, it has led me to believe they do better when being micromanaged. So what I might do in the beginning is do a little bit more micromanaging with them, right? Set up more frequent touch points, set up some explicit milestones. If they've proven that they can do that and it works well, maybe the next time I back off a little bit more. And then they've kind of demonstrated like, yeah, I can crush this. It's not a big deal. But I think it's just some back and forth in the beginning. So hopefully that helps. Sorry if that's too wordy. I think the last thing that I have in the newsletter article is just about like, building trust. And it's not like, I don't know, I have some actionable advice written here, but I want to say it's not like a specific set of things that I feel like I could tell someone to go do that, it's universal advice that everyone can just apply, like cut and paste. I think that one-on-one time can be really beneficial for building up trust, right? I think that when we're talking about work relationships, like my opinion is like trust is one of the most important things, right? I need to work with my team to earn their trust. I need to earn their respect. I can't just command it. It doesn't work that way. I can't say, hey, look, I've been a successful manager before, therefore just trust me. No. But how do I build trust with them? Well, I have to go, be accountable for the things that I say that I'm going to do. I have to demonstrate to them repeatedly that if I say I'm going to help them with something or follow up with something, that I do it. It takes time and it takes effort. But you can do the same thing the other way working with your manager, where you can build trust. You can hold yourself accountable. Hey, I'm going to go do this. I'm trying to think. There's a really funny way that people phrase things, and it's, I don't know, just part of like how we speak sometimes. We're like, when you're talking to someone and someone says, hey, like, can you get something done? You're talking about some deliverable. And the way that you frame things is like, yeah, I can try to do that. Right? It's true. You will try to go get it done. But instead framing things like, yes, I will get that done. Now you need to be accountable for it, right? If it doesn't get done and there's a good reason for it and you can back it up, like that's a different story. But, taking this time to go build trust, I think is really valuable. And the other sort of note that I had in here is like feedback, right? This might be uncomfortable for some people. And I would sort of caution you about this next point that I'm going to make. If you don't have a good working relationship with your manager, this probably is going to be a weird one to lean into. So maybe work on the working relationship first. But I think feedback is really important. So for example, if I have employees that I'm doing one-on-ones with, if they're able to share feedback with me about how I can do a better job with them, like, hell yeah, I want that. Right? I want to know how I can do my job more effectively when working with them. If they're like, hey, I'm just making this stuff up, right? Like, hey, I would appreciate more feedback or more regular feedback or different type of feedback. Tell me, right? Hey, I'm working on this project. I would appreciate more support, more visibility, because I'm nervous or because I think this is really important for my my career progression. I just want to make sure you have the right visibility, whatever it is, right? I would want to know that feedback so that I can do a better job. And I think that when people can come forward and be honest about the feedback, what they need and their expectations, for me, that helps build trust because I know that they're being open and honest with me. And then I can do my job better. So that's a really good thing for me. Sometimes that might mean that I get feedback that's difficult for me, right? Where I'm like, oh man, that sucks to hear. Like, I thought I was doing a good job with that, but turns out there's some room for improvement. Sure. No, I don't think anyone like immediately is like super stoked about that. It's like, that kind of sucks, but now you know, and now it's on you to do a better job, right? Like you have something you can do better at, so you can turn it into something positive. Ryan says, what's your opinion on figuring out how a person prefers to be managed? Some prefer being micromanaged, some prefer being hands-off, and other ways. Yeah. So kind of what I was hinting at with Roma, but I I do think that it's definitely individual. Um, One of the most important lessons that I learned from my sort of HR director at a startup before Microsoft, like early in my career, talked about this on Code Commute. Um, when I became a manager, so when I became a manager, I was actually an individual contributor at the same time. It was a bit of a weird situation, and I was pretty fresh out of university. So when it was like, hey, do you want to lead the teams? I'm like, I literally don't know what that means, but sure, sign me up. Um, so not having any management experience, one of the things that my HR director told me was like, you need to remember situational leadership, like a fundamental thing. And she said, I need you to remember that like people on your team are different from each other. They're going to be different than other people you'll manage, and they're different from you. So, for example, just going to pick out something random, like me, Nick, like maybe Nick appreciates being praised publicly for his good work. Maybe that's what Nick likes. But you might have people on your team that absolutely hate it. Hate it. You might have someone else that loves it. You might have other people that are motivated by money more than their autonomy at work versus their challenges that they can face at work versus their career progression versus work-life balance, right? Everyone is going to be different. So you need to treat every individual as an individual and invest the time into them as individuals. So Ryan, to your question, I think a lot of this for me comes down to one-on-ones and just trying to poke and prod and ask questions about how I can best support people. If I'm doing this and I find that it's not working well, so for example, someone's telling me feedback about what's effective for them, or they're not giving me any feedback and I'm trying things, like we'll have to get some alignment, right? I can't just be totally hands off and say, well, this isn't working. We have to come to something that we're aligned on and try things out. So for example, maybe there's a situation where an individual is not progressing in their work at sort of an expected pace. And so we're talking about it and it's like, okay, like we've been doing X and like we're talking about this. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now and this pattern doesn't really seem to be working. We need to try something else. So can we agree to try something else? And then we'll try it. And if that makes an improvement, great. Do we make another slight adjustment? Do we try incorporating something else? But it has to be very situational. So I don't know if that's too generic of an answer, but I think that's my answer on this one. Devin says, these days I'm pretty quick to say I don't know if I can do something. I'll still time box the answer to whether or not it's possible. The first deliverable is a timeline. Yes, for the second deliverable, 100%. Right? I think it's good framing to be able to. So the danger with what I was saying earlier is like you can't just like, you don't want to say yes to everything. So I don't mean to say that. I don't mean for that to be the intention of what I was saying. My intention was like, if you're like, I know that I'm going to get that thing done, instead of saying, I'll try, like you commit to it. Now, if you cannot commit to it because you don't know what's involved, I think as Devin was saying, I love this, right? It's like commit to a timeline, right? I'll time box it to, situational, right? So by the end of the day, by tomorrow, by the end of the week, whatever it is, I will commit to a time box here, and then I will come back and give you a more straight up answer. So thank you for that, Devin. And Jason, thank you so much. I do appreciate that a lot. It means a lot. So, I don't, I don't know what else to say except thank you. I'm awkward, but thanks for that. It's, yeah, like I said, I don't have anything else to say. So, and you're very welcome. I certainly, I don't do it for, don't do it for the tips. I would have stopped a long time ago. The ad revenue on YouTube videos is also not not good, but it makes me feel good to be able to share. And honestly, when it's a little thing, but when people just say like it made a difference, I'm actually getting like emotional. I'm trying not to. When people say that it makes a difference, it's like, you know, that's the reminder that it's all worth it. I know, like I was joking earlier, I know what Devin sees when I'm talking smack about people that are being assholes on in comments and stuff like that. Because when people are being rude, I post it on Twitter. So don't be rude, or else you're going to be blasted on Twitter. And that's the kind of stuff where, like, you know, I don't actually take it personally, but it's like, man, like, why am I doing this? Like, you know, I post stuff online trying to be helpful, and then you have people that are like, who's this idiot making videos or making posts? And you're like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know who this idiot is. I guess I guess I'll stop. But it only ever takes like one person to say thanks or that it made a difference, and then it's like, okay, I'll keep doing it. You know, so I appreciate that a lot. Folks, I think that's mostly it though. We kind of got through the newsletter. True, Nick blasted me once. What? In fact, what did I blast you on? You've been here for forever. I forgot, but you must remember. Share with the audience. I hope I wasn't being mean. I'm not mean, am I? I thought I blasted Tayman because Tayman comes on and I said something. Did you? I don't remember. I'm just glad. In fact, okay, so I must say, like, Ryan's here a lot. Devin is everywhere. I post on every social media platform. Devin's everywhere. Infected FPS is here very regularly. Tayman comes in. I'm trying to scroll back up. There's some people that aren't here today that are here pretty regularly. Anyway, means a lot. I appreciate you guys all being here. But let's go back over to sales pitches and stuff. So this is my newsletter. This is where I was sharing stuff from. So like I said, if you don't want to subscribe, please don't. I don't want you to get emails that you're not going to open. But if you're just interested in seeing what the live stream is going to be about, it is at weekly.devleader.ca. Folks on Substack, you're already where the newsletter is. Shocking, I know. But yeah, so check that out if you want to see what the next live stream will be about. I post them on Saturday mornings. So you have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to see if you're interested in the topic. But otherwise, I will do the live streams on Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific, unless I'm sick or on vacation or something. So we got that. We got the courses. I shared courses earlier. I'll post them in the chat again. Again, it's not just C# courses, but there's also some stuff on career management and other more soft skill type things, interviewing, that sort of stuff. Was very happy to pair up with Ryan Murphy on those ones. Like I said earlier, he's an engineering manager at Yelp. So check that out. Otherwise, some of you folks are watching from my main YouTube channel. And if you're watching the recorded version of this, then odds are you're watching it on YouTube. So you already know what this is all about. But I do have a resume review series where I am taking in resumes so people can submit them. And basically, if you go to my YouTube channel, and I haven't linked it yet, so let me do that. I feel like I'm losing my voice too. You can check out my main YouTube channel. If you look at any one of these resume videos, in the first minute, I explain how to submit a resume. It's for a free resume review. For now, unless these videos blow up and I get too many of them, and then I need to put them behind a membership or something like that. But not the case right now. So check them out. Otherwise, my main YouTube channel has the resume videos. They have programming videos. The newer ones have these really good thumbnails from the editor, much better than these thumbnails. Although these videos have all done way better than all the rest. I don't know. Can't explain it. Can't win at YouTube. Otherwise, there is podcast episodes as well. So on these podcast episodes, I interview other software developers and try to focus on their career development. So at least in the beginning, right? So how did you get to where you are? What was your career story? Because every one of these people has a very different story. So for example, Code Wrinkles, awesome .NET developer. He's posting less and less now. I think he's kind of got a bit of a shift in focus. But, you know, awesome guy. He actually started in development quite, you know, air quotes, quite late compared to many other people. Career switcher. When we were doing this video here, I can't remember, his name's cut off. I can't remember his name. That's embarrassing. What is it? Amer, yes, or Amer, that's right. He was saying that he was actually focused completely, not in anything related to software development, and actually had done a couple of career switches. And in the end, he's still not a software developer, but he took different things from his career and married them together, and then actually created a tech startup. So really cool to interview. But those podcasts are, you know, lots of insight from other people. Go Guppy, welcome. It's just about to wrap up though, so I'm so sorry. And Justin, yes, glad you find the sign of the bald guy. Awesome. Thanks, Justin. I'm glad you appreciate the resume review series. And we'll go over to Code Commute, which is the last, well, second last thing I'll blast you guys. That Go Guppy person looks like Amakai, but I can't see, but I might just be making that up. Go Guppy. Well, welcome, Go Guppy. I do appreciate you being here. I can't see the profile picture, but it looks like Amakai. So maybe it is. But Code Commute is my other YouTube channel. I vlog on this channel. I was mentioning earlier, like, got over 200 videos up on there now, which is super cool. You can see that I tried out a couple of thumbnails because I said on this channel I wasn't going to do any, but I started to hit a bit of a wall with no visibility on videos. So anyway, these ones are mostly done from the car. You'll see a couple of them are from this this office, but they're all a vlog style. So very much like how I'm talking to the camera now, except I'm not looking at a live stream chat because that would be super dangerous to do while I'm driving. So I don't, but I talk about general software engineering stuff, people that submit questions, and then otherwise I will go to Reddit. If I don't have any pending questions, I go to Reddit to look for interesting topics. And if I had one request from folks, if you're interested in Code Commute and you enjoy the videos on Code Commute, if you share them on Reddit or dev.to or on any social media you have, please, it would be super awesome. That just helps with the visibility. I was saying that the ad revenue from this channel still doesn't cover the cost of me driving in the fast lane to go to work every month. So we got some room. So I would appreciate anyone sharing videos from this channel. Go Guppy, sad that you're missing the tail end of this, but I do it every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific. So you can check out next week's as well. And otherwise, if you like the style of this, honestly, Code Commute is very similar, but like I said, there's no chat. But yeah, that's this channel. I always like showing off one of the 360 videos because I think it's super cool. Because I feel like I learned about this not long ago. But see how my stupid face is here? But notice how I'm dragging with my mouse. That's my other car. Check it out. Someday soon, back on the road. But you can literally drag it around. People sometimes tell me that they watch these videos in their office chairs and spin around in circles. But yeah, you can see like I'm driving to work and you can look around as I'm driving. Go Guppy, yes, I am at Microsoft. I am a principal engineering manager on the routing plane team for Substrate. So I have team members that are responsible for routing trillions of requests per day for Microsoft, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think that these 360 videos are so cool. I have to figure this out though. Like, what's with this seam? It's literally a 360-degree camera. There's not supposed to be a seam. But anyway, it's cool. So if you don't get motion sickness, feel free to try that out. Otherwise, let me get back out of that. Otherwise, Brand Ghost, sorry, should have said flashbang warning. Brand Ghost is what I was talking about earlier. Yes, Go Guppy, I do have a Discord. My Discord is paid for, though. I'm really bad at selling stuff, so I never mention it. Side Stack, is that what it's called? One sec. Yes. So, one sec. So I'm going to put a link to this. So yeah, sorry, my Discord is paid for. If you sign up for my newsletter using SideStack, you should be able to get a Discord invite. It should work, but it is paid for. So I figured if people are signing up for the newsletter, they can get the Discord membership included with that. The reason I do that, by the way, it's not, I think it's like $5 a month or something, but historically what was happening was I would have people message me. People would message me and say like, hey, like, can you answer this stuff for me? And they would ask these questions. Then I would spend a lot of time answering questions for them. And then they wouldn't respond or anything. Like, I don't even know if they got the message. And I'm like, why am I doing this? So 2 things I started doing was vlogging about it. So I said, great, if you have a question, I'll make a video out of it. It's the same reason I do the resume reviews. Like, if I'm going to spend the time, it's becoming content. And the second part is if I paywall some of the stuff, at least I can have people that are serious about the questions they're asking. At some point, like, I need to acknowledge that my time is valuable as well. So I just feel like guilty. That's why I said I'm a really bad salesperson, but I'm working on it. We're trying to get better. So Brand Ghost is the platform that I'm building for social media. So the way that this works is if you're a content creator or you would like to try, Brand Ghost allows you to cross-post and schedule content across platforms. So this list is continuously growing, but it's free to use, which is super cool. So if you're just getting started or you want to try out content creation, you can try out Brand Ghost totally for free. And then there's more advanced features that cost money. So if I scroll down, you can see, actually you can see like that's my Instagram, right? It works, it's cool. But we have paid for features. So for example, we have these things called topic streams. I'm just going to share some of the technical details because it's all software developers on here, right? Topic streams are recurring schedules. And so what we do is the content that you're posting, you can add it to a topic stream and it will recycle your content over time, which is super handy as a creator. And the experience that I love sharing because I thought it was so cool was last October, I think. Last October, I went on a vacation to Hawaii with my wife, which is awesome. Highly recommend Hawaii. And during that time, I'm not going to be on social media making posts. Just not happening because I'm on vacation. So during that week, Brand Ghost posted across my social media accounts 150 times, completely on its own. I should clarify, it's content that I've written. It's not just random content that I've written, all automatically scheduled out for me. And I forgot that I didn't add more memes to post. I post memes on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I forgot to go add more before I left. So it recycled a meme. That meme that got posted had over 2 million impressions. It's the most viewed piece of content I've ever posted on the internet. It was recycled and posted automatically through Brand Ghost, which I thought was really cool. So anyway, it's built in ASP.NET Core. So for those of you that are software developers that are interested in the nerdy stuff, ASP.NET Core, hosted in Azure, MySQL database. It's got a Next.js front end. It's cool stuff. But yeah, try it out if you're interested in content creation or getting started. And if you have questions, if you're like, hey, I would like to try posting content, I'd like to try building in public, or maybe you have a business on the side and you're like, I don't like posts and stuff for this is tedious, send me a message. I'm happy to try answering questions because Brand Ghost is literally what powers all of my content creation. So, pseudo please. Hi, I'm so sorry that this is the very end of the live stream though. So What you can do is join next week, 7 p.m. Pacific, because I'll be streaming again, and I hope to see you there. So thanks everyone for joining. If you have questions that you want answered on Code Commute before the next live stream, just send them to me on social media. Pick a platform, send me a message, and I will make a video and vlog about it. So thanks so much. I'll see you folks next time. Take care.